Good morning, Little Masters, and welcome to today's Tolkien Times. I'm Alan, the Man of the West, also from the Prancing Pony podcast, and the TTT is my way of bringing you a little Middle-earth every single day. Now, if you want even more content, be sure to listen to the award-winning Prancing Pony podcast, now approaching the end of our 7th season. But let's get started today with Third Age Thursday. Now, I love Thursdays. This is a time for us to revisit those familiar and favorite moments from The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and maybe sometimes some of those not-so-familiar stories of the Third Age out of the appendices or unfinished tales. I'll read a short passage, discuss it a little bit, and hopefully remind us of why we fell in love with Middle-earth. Now, last week, we read about the recovery of the Shire, helped in large part by Sam's use of the Lady Galadriel's gift. We read about the Malorn tree, the only one west of the mountains and east of the sea, and we enjoyed reading about a proper 1420 ale. Now, a couple of weeks earlier, we started this segment by reading a landscape description of the Shire and discussed the importance of the Shire's rustic beauty, its Arcadia, to Frodo's sacrifice. Today, though, we're going to move far from the Shire to another place of beauty, a more ethereal and mysterious beauty, a fading beauty even. We're going to go to Lothlorien, where in a "did he plan it this way" moment, Sam receives the Malorn seed that we read about last week. In fact, we'll actually go there for today and next week's Third Age Thursday, as the passage I want to read is a bit long for just one episode. We join the story as the company are departing the land. They've gotten themselves into their boats, even the hobbits, and Sam is thrilled to have received coils of elven rope. They encounter Galadriel and Celeborn in their swan ship, and the Lord invites them to a parting feast. Celeborn provides some guidance and directions regarding the next stage of their journey, and it's right after that I'll pick up, and I'll be reading from this edition of the Fellowship of the Ring. Now Galadriel rose from the grass, and taking a cup from one of her maidens, she filled it with white mead and gave it to Celeborn. "Now it is time to drink the cup of farewell," she said. "Drink, Lord of the Galadrim, and let not your heart be sad, though night must follow noon, and already our evening draweth nigh." Then she brought the cup to each of the company, and bade them drink and farewell. But when they had drunk, she commanded them to sit again on the grass, and chairs were set for her and for Celeborn. Her maidens stood silent about her, and a while she looked upon her guests. At last she spoke again. "We have drunk the cup of parting," she said, "and the shadows fall between us. But before you go, I have brought in my ship gifts which the Lord and Lady of the Galadrim now offer you in memory of Lothlorien." Then she called to each in turn. "Here is the gift of Celeborn and Galadriel to the leader of your company," she said to Aragorn, and she gave him a sheath that had been made to fit his sword. It was overlaid with a tracery of flowers and leaves wrought of silver and gold, and on it were set in elven runes formed of many gems the name Andoril and the lineage of the sword. "The blade that is drawn from this sheath shall not be stained or broken, even in defeat," she said. "But is there aught else that you desire of me at our parting? For darkness will flow between us, and it may be that we shall not meet again, unless it be far hence, upon a road that has no returning." And Aragorn answered, "Lady, you know all my desire, and long held in keeping the only treasure that I seek. Yet it is not yours to give me even if you would, and only through darkness shall I come to it." "Yet maybe this will lighten your heart," said Galadriel, "for it was left in my care to be given to you should you pass through this land." Then she lifted from her lap a great stone of clear green, set in a silver brooch that was wrought in the likeness of an eagle with outspread wings. And as she held it up, the gem flashed like the sun shining through the leaves of spring. "This stone I gave to Celebrian, my daughter, and she to hers, and now it comes to you as a token of hope. In this hour, take the name that was foretold for you, Elessar, the Elfstone of the house of Elendil." Then Aragorn took the stone and pinned the brooch upon his breast, and those who saw him wondered, for they had not marked before how tall and kingly he stood, and it seemed to them that many years of toil had fallen from his shoulders. "For the gifts that you have given me, I thank you," he said, "O Lady of Lorien, of whom were sprung Celebrian and Arwen Evanstar. What praise could I say more?" The lady bowed her head, and she turned then to Boromir, and to him she gave a belt of gold, and to Merry and Pippin she gave small silver belts, each with a clasp wrought like a golden flower. To Legolas she gave a bow such as the Galadriel used, longer and stouter than the bows of Mirkwood, and strung with a string of elf hair. With it went a quiver of arrows. "For you, little gardener and lover of trees," she said to Sam, "I have only a small gift." She put into his hand a little box of plain gray wood, unadorned save for a single silver rune upon the lid. "Here is set G for Galadriel, but also it may stand for garden in your tongue. In this box there is earth from my orchard, and such blessing as Galadriel has still to bestow is upon it. It will not keep you on your road, nor defend you against any peril. But if you keep it and see your home again at last, then perhaps it may reward you. Though you should find all barren and laid waste, there will be few gardens in Middle-earth that will bloom like your garden if you sprinkle this earth there. Then you may remember Galadriel, and catch a glimpse far off of Lorien that you have seen only in our winter. For our spring and our summer are gone by, and they will never be seen on earth again, save in memory." Sam went red to the ears and muttered something inaudible as he clutched the box and bowed as well as he could. There are a lot of things to talk about here, so I'm just going to call out a couple. First, I really love that cup of farewell moment. It's very much a Beowulf reference, I think. It makes me think of Hrothgar's queen, and I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I think it's Wealhtheow, who offered the cup to the king and then to the guests. And though there are better translations, I'm going to read from Tolkien's at line 962 for that. "Then spake the Lady of the Shieldings, Receive now this cup, dear lord of mine, giver of rich gifts." Very much. You can see why that reminds me of that Beowulf moment. Now, my favorite bit in this part of the gift giving is the giving of the Elessar. It really deserves its own Third Age Thursday, so I will do that down the road. Just know there is a lot of meaning and history behind this gift. There are layers upon layers, but that would spoil a future Third Age Thursday, so just stay tuned. Now, if there is a bit of the story you'd like me to read and chat about, let me know by emailing Barnaman at the Prancing Pony Podcast. Folks, join me again tomorrow on today's Tolkien Times as I welcome another special guest for Fandom Friday. Please like and subscribe on YouTube and follow or subscribe on your podcast apps to make sure each episode gets downloaded to your device. Follow at Tolkien Times on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And as Faramir says, go with the goodwill of all good men.